FuryBSD reviews, tutorials and gaming.
Right, we're on the FuryBSD website, and you can see a download option right there. And we'll click on it. And one strange thing is it will bring you up FuryBSD 12.0 XFCE. Now, I know we're on 12.1, but for some reason it gives you 12.0. But if you go to the top, download now, and click on the top one, XFCE, you scroll down a little bit and there's 12.1. So I think that maybe those in charge of the website need to get that sorted. Anyway, the download speed is very nice, very good indeed. Average on about roughly about 24.5 to 25. Not too bad. And once the USB is inserted into the test machine, we'll reboot. And we'll go through the installation. Because this is very closely based on FreeBSD, you would have a hard time in trying to differentiate what you're actually loading up, as the splash screen and the loading screen is exactly the same as FreeBSD. Right, we're on the desktop of FuryBSD, and it looks pretty much like it did in the 12.0 review that I did. You got the same icons. You got, well, there's minus the Wi-Fi configuration, but they're practically the same. You got configure xorg, getting started text file, install, and system information, alongside home, file system, and trash cans. I'm not going to go into the detail of what each one of these additional icons on the desktop do, but what I will do is I'll go straight into the FuryBSD install. If you want to see what these icons are, then have a look at my previous video of 12.0 and it'll give you a good indication of what they do. So clicking on the install FuryBSD icon will bring up a nice cursors style menu system for installation, and the default file system is ZFS. We go down to configure the drive. We've got a single drive on this test machine, so I'm just going to use Stripe one disk. The rest I can leave pretty much default. Well, if you want to encrypt your swap or file system, you can here. We'll just click on install, and yes. And we will let it do its magic. There we go. We're just going to skip to the end of the install. There we go. And it will ask you for a root password. And if you're used to FreeBSD install, then you will recognize this part. I retype it. And it's reminding you to add at least one user to the wheel, so you can use SU. Username, RoboNuggie. Full name, RoboNuggie, but with capitals though. Login group, and this is where we enter wheel. You could put operator as well, but we'll just keep it to wheel. I'm going to go default with the rest and enter the user password. And again, lock out the creation, no. Is everything's okay? Yes. Add another user, no, we're alright for the moment. And I'll press no here to set the time. Go down to Europe. And all the way down to the United Kingdom, which should be at the bottom, or near the bottom. There we go. Press OK. Skip for this, skip for that, because the time is right. And that's it. We'll reboot, and we'll go in to have a look what's new. Well, usually, when a new operating system is released, there is usually a list of changes since the last release. But try as I might, looking around the FuryBSD website, I could not find any indication of what's new. I know it shadows the FreeBSD release pretty closely, and so really you could logically say, well, look at that changelog. But I think really they should have something on their website where they list the changes pertaining to FuryBSD, because it's FuryBSD which you download. I know it says FreeBSD on the splash screen and everything about it does say FreeBSD, but you downloaded and using FuryBSD, and if it's not completely differentiated from FreeBSD, then why call it something else? I'm not being overcritical here, but it's a matter of if it's an exact clone of FreeBSD, then what's the point? If it's different from FreeBSD, if it's changed or better, then list the changes. And it's something that I found a little bit infuriating, really. So going down, the only thing was a release from December the 7th, 2019. That's really not about this 12.1. And I still can't find anything, so we'll have a look somewhere else. So a lot of the announcements and messages are quite old. That's a live CD builder. And these really don't apply. We'll look at the GitHub project, and no, these are just the settings. There doesn't seem to be any. Again, this seems to be quite old, so we'll keep on looking down. Releases. We go to this, and the release is 12.0, so there's not 12.1 listed. Yeah, okay, well, that's not there. We'll have a look at this, and no. Again, they seem to be fairly old. There's nothing there. I might be looking on the wrong place, and if I am, then please correct me. Leave a comment in the section down below, and I'll have a look. But even looking on the message forums, there's nothing there. And some of the messages are quite old. The topics, though, December the 22nd, 2019. So there's not a lot of activity on that one, and some spam as well, which is a shame to see in a message forum. So there's nothing there really. Tips and tricks, help, suggestions, outlook. No, I don't think I'm going to find anything there. To the blog. It takes us back to this. And again, the slightly older information. And surely in the about. Well, tells you what it's about. But yeah. So I really couldn't find any information about what's changed between 12.0 and 12.1, other than the underlying software being FreeBSD, if that mirrors 12.0, 12.1. So as you can see, I'm doing a search, I can't find anything. Yeah. FreeBSD 12.1 release notes. So if anybody knows, then please leave a comment, because I'd be interested to know. Anyway, we'll have a look around the desktop. It was a clean install. You don't really get much out of the box, as they say. You get the usual KDE tools. And just to see what the system we're running on, we'll have a look. It's FuryBSD 12.1 is running on FreeBSD 12.1. So it does mirror it. And we're using 340 megabytes at the moment. It is running ZFS, so there's a little bit of overhead on that, but it's not too bad. And even though it's running XFCE, that's to be expected, really. There's the file system. Because we're using ZFS, it's laid out in the classic style. Right, we're just going to do a install and run a Linus test. I like to do this every time I do an operating system. I know it's not the most accurate of security measurement or system lockdown ability, but I like to use it as a constant benchmark on all the systems. I think on the default FreeBSD you get roughly about 56. We'll see what this one brings up. So we'll just install it. And we'll just run it now. So Linus audit system. And we'll just let it do its thing. So we're running the latest version. Right. So we'll look. Oh, 57. Well, you know, that's about on par, really, what I expected. Not too bad. There's plenty of room there for improvement. Very good. Okay. Right. Well, I'll have a look around on the desktop. You got the menu. You got your virtual desktops. This is all pretty standard stuff. You get file there. You get network. You get your sound. Notification. And date and calendar. Time and calendar. You got your trash can. Your file system. Which just takes you to the root of it all, really. And your home folder, of course. You get right-click and you get this nice little menu that pops up. And pretty much everything you can do with the system is accessible here. You get your application menu, you can your terminal emulator and all sorts. I find it pretty handy. I mean, I'm used to the a window manager type of menu anyway, so this is not, to me, it's not foreign. 4.14 XFCE. And for those who care, there's, I don't know, it's a fairly decent selection of wallpapers. A little bit slow loading, but we'll get there eventually. A nice variety, I think. There's natural ones, abstract ones, and yeah, pretty cool. I like the default one, so I'm going to keep it at that, I think. Yeah. And you can change the menu, change the icons, and alter the colors, and all the usual things. Talking about menus, it's an interesting thing where web browser will just point to Firefox. Let's have a look at what's all available. I'm not going to list them all out because there's too many, but a lot of them are the default tools with KDE. Of course, Firefox has been added. accessories, etc., internet. So yeah, it's not so bad. There's quite a few things missing on a usable system, and I'll show you them in a bit. There's Firefox. It's a little bit slow, but there we go. And we'll have a look at the world's best YouTube channel, as we always do, just to test the video playback. Well, the previous FuryBSD there. Check that one out for it's more in depth than this particular video, but it still pertains to it because it's only 1 point release difference. So yes, very good. Pop-ups, there you go. Not too bad. It's fairly speedy for an old system, and it's running quite well. There you go. One interesting thing, it says mail reader, but there is actually no mail reader assigned to it. So yeah, maybe that needs to be looked at, perhaps. It's easy to do yourself, but if this was being used by a new user, then it may cause some complications and some confusion. In fact, there's no mail reader available in the internet section, so that's a little bit of strangeness. Sometimes it's just the little things which can make the difference. One thing I also noticed was there wasn't any Office applications installed. In fact, there wasn't even a section called Office. And at least, I think, in every operating system that comes pre-packaged. I mean, I'm not talking about FuryBSD itself, but if it comes pre-packaged, then you need at least a word processor or an Office suite. No, I was going to install OpenOffice. I'll put LibreOffice, because without that, you're not going to get much done, and I think one should be included by default. I prefer OpenOffice, but I understand the momentum towards LibreOffice is more widespread amongst the Linux community. I'll just fast forward this. It doesn't take that long, but just for sake of brevity. Now, if we have a look, there's the new Office section, and there's LibreOffice all installed. You know, for an old machine, this loads up quite quick, which is not so bad. There we go. And just unclick that, and OK. And there we are, LibreOffice. Just the random gibberish. And we'll have a look at the version number. Yeah, 6.3.4.2.0 plus. Not too bad. Right, thoughts? Well, it's difficult. This is a point release. I raved about the previous release, which was 12.0, because it was fairly new then. I think that was the sort of initial release. And everything I said in that, I still stand by. It's difficult to say really where this is and what this is. This is a 12.1, and I couldn't find any information of what's been really improved or done or changed. It looks and feels the same. I can't tell any improvements at all, really. I don't know, it's very strange. I want to review it because it's a 12.1 and it's FuryBSD, and I love what they're doing. But it's very peculiar for me. Yeah, it runs well. And it's FuryBSD. It's pretty much still vanilla FreeBSD with a pre-configured desktop. There's nothing really to differentiate or distinguish this from FreeBSD. Not like GhostBSD, which has done a lot of work tailoring it and changing it. And I actually consider GhostBSD to be distinct from FreeBSD. Not so far removed, but still enough to be regarded as such. NomadBSD is FreeBSD for mobile, so that's them, and they have changed things quite a lot. Every time they have a point release there, they do change things quite a lot. But FuryBSD, I don't know. There's one or two differences on the initial desktop when you got the icons there. There's no longer any, configure Wi-Fi or anything. But so maybe that's one change that they did do, where they actually automatically configured it under the hood. I don't know. It's hard to say. The memory use is consistent. The installation is consistent with the previous versions. So yes, it's the usual quality. It's very good. Why should you use this above GhostBSD, Nomad, or straight FreeBSD? I don't know. There's no reason not to use it, but I can't see any compelling reason to particularly use it. And I'm in no way I'm not dissing this project, because I think it's fantastic. The people behind it are really, really clever people. But overall, everything feels a little bit unfinished or still work in progress. From the inconsistencies to the download. You click on the big download button on the picture and it's 12.0, and you have to go to the top and it takes you to the kind of GitHub page where it's 12.1. It's a little bit unprofessional. It seems a little bit disorientated. And then you've got missing menu items. I know these are only little things, but it's the little things. First impressions last, as they say. Anyway, I'll leave a link in the description box below to download a version, and XFCE version, and for you to have a look yourself. If you want to see more videos like this, then hit that like button, and to make sure you don't miss out, please consider subscribing, as this really helps me help you.